Welcome back to my channel, Famous and Fabulous. Dennis Weaver finally talks about James Arness. Dennis Weaver was born Billy Dennis Weaver on June 4, 1924 in Joe Plain, Missouri. He grew up in the middle part of America, and his hometown roots really shaped who he was both when he was acting and when he wasn't. His early life was full of simple country living and seeing what was happening in America in the middle of the 1900s. This helped make him the kind, real, and warm person that people loved when he became an actor. Weaver started acting when he was in college at the University of Oklahoma, where he first studied drama and radio shows. Dennis Weaver began acting in plays, first working as a backup actor for Lonnie Chapman in the part of Turk Fisher in a famous Broadway show called Come Back Little Sheba. Even though he started as just a backup and helper, Weaver's talent quickly showed, and directors and audiences could see he was good. Soon he got to play the main role in the touring show that traveled around the country. The chance let him get better at acting in front of many different people across the United States, getting really good experience that would later help him when he acted in movies and TV shows. His early theatre work showed he was dedicated, hard-working, and could play many different kinds of roles, things that would make his career great for many years. He really wanted to get better, so Weaver joined the famous Actors Studio in New York City, a tough training place for actors who wanted to learn how to show real emotions and make their acting feel true to life. During this time, Weaver lived a life where he had to keep trying hard and be practical, doing his acting classes while working lots of different jobs to make money. He sold vacuum cleaners, tricycles, and even women's stockings, showing he was smart about making money and never gave up on his dream to be an actor. It was at the Actors Studio that he met the famous actress Shelley Winters, who saw how good he could be and helped him get a contract with Universal Studios in 1952, which was a really important step toward becoming a real movie actor. Even though he got this early movie studio contract, Universal Studios didn't give Weaver many chances to show what he could do in big or important roles. But he didn't give up and kept working as an actor who could work for different companies, trying to make it in movies and TV shows even when it was hard and uncertain. His never-giving-up attitude worked when he got his first movie role in the 1953 color western movie The Redhead from Wyoming. This role showed his tough charm and natural way of acting on screen to lots more people. Over the next 3 years, Weaver was in several movies, slowly building up his list of roles while still doing odd jobs to make money, showing how hard he worked and how humble he stayed. Weaver's big break came with his famous role as Chester Goode in the radio and TV Western drama show, Gunsmoke. Playing the loyal limping helper to Marshal Dillon, Weaver made the character warm, funny, and human, creating a character people remembered and loved in American TV history. His really good acting made audiences across the country love him, getting him the Emmy Award for Best Supporting Actor in 1959, and making him known as one of the most talented actors of his time. Gunsmoke's huge popularity not only made Weaver famous, but also let him get lots of different roles in both TV and movies. After his success on Gunsmoke, Weaver kept trying different kinds of roles. He was in the TV anthology series The Silent Service as Commander B.D. Cliggott and had a supporting role in the famous 1958 movie Touch of Evil, directed by Orson Welles. In the early 1970s, Weaver tried his musical talents, making his first album with AM Press Records and starting his own record company, Just Good Records, showing he was good at business and creative in many ways. All through the 1960s, Weaver was on TV a lot, being in anthology shows like Alfred Hitchcock Presents in 1960 and The Twilight Zone in 1961. From 1964 to 1965, he played a animal doctor in the NBC comedy drama Kentucky Jones before going back to Western. Roles in the movie Duel at Diablo in 1966 as Willard Grange and the CBS family series Gentle Ben from 1967 to 1969 as Tom Wedlow, making his reputation even stronger as an actor who could play many roles and do them well. Weaver's later TV work kept getting good reviews from critics. He got 2 more Emmy nominations for playing Deputy Marshal Sam McCloud in the NBC police drama McCloud from 1970 to 1977, playing the role again in a 1971 TV movie directed by Steven Spielberg. Showing he cared about other actors, He was president of the Screen Actors Guild from 1973 to 1975, fighting for actors' rights and making sure the industry was fair. Weaver wasn't scared to deal with important social topics on TV. In 1977, he played an abusive husband in the groundbreaking TV movie Intimate Strangers, one of the first projects to talk about domestic violence, showing he was willing to take on difficult material. He also played the role of trail boss R.J. Poteet in the epic miniseries Centennial in 1978, showing people still loved him in Western-themed shows. The 1980s saw Weaver keep being big on TV, playing main characters in ABC series like Stone, playing detective, turned crime writer Sergeant Daniel Stone and Buck James as a Texas surgeon and rancher. He also starred as Rear Admiral Thomas Mallory in the CBS series Emerald Point Nass from 1983 to 1984, showing he could adapt to both drama and police shows. During this time, he was in lots of acclaimed TV movies, including Amber Waves in 1980, worked alongside Hisson Robert in Stone, and played historical person Dr. Samuel Mudd in The Ordeal of Dr. Mudd. His acting in Cocaine, One Man's Seduction in 1983, and Bluffing It in 1987, showed even more how he could take on complex, challenging roles with skill and realness. Besides acting, Weaver directed 4 episodes of Gunsmoke and 1 episode of McCloud, produced the documentary Dennis Weaver's Earthship and the TV movie The Return of Sam McCloud, and did the voice for the cartoon series The Simpsons as Buck McCoy in 2002, showing he spent his whole life wanting to try every part of storytelling. Weaver's last TV appearance was as Henry Ritter in ABC's Wildfire, a role that was cut short sadly because he died. All through his career, he got lots of awards, including the 1981 Bronze Wrangler Award, and got put into the Hall of Great Western Performers at the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum in Oklahoma City. He was also honored with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, a permanent reminder of his huge contributions to movies, TV, and American culture. Dennis Weaver's personal life was deeply connected with his love for family, starting with his marriage to Jerry Stowell shortly after World War II ended. The time after the war in America was when people were rebuilding and feeling hopeful, and like many people coming back from the war, Weaver wanted stability and someone to share his life within his home life. Jerry Stowell became that steady support for him, giving him help and partnership through both the good and bad times of his growing acting career. Their marriage was not only a romantic connection, but also the foundation for a loving family environment, one that would last for many years. Together, Dennis and Jerry had 3 sons, Richard, Robert, and Rusty Weaver. Each of their children meant a new chapter in the Weavers' lives, and Dennis often talked about the deep joy and sense of responsibility he felt as a dad. His relationship with his sons showed his values of dedication, hard work, and honesty, qualities he showed both on screen and off. While the demands of Hollywood and being famous could have kept him away from family life, Weaver stayed a present and involved father, going to important events, supporting their dreams, and creating a home where his children could grow with confidence and love. Jerry Weaver herself was a remarkable person in the family, giving constant support to Dennis while raising their children. She lived a long life, dying on April 26, 2016 at the age of 90, leaving behind a legacy of devotion both to her husband and to their family. Her long life let her see Dennis's entire career, from his early TV appearances to his celebrated status as a beloved actor. Her life and partnership with Dennis showed the lasting power of love, strength, and companionship through the years, making the Weaver family story one of lasting strength and warmth. Dennis Weaver, the beloved actor whose name became known for the famous TV Western Gunsmoke and the memorable series McCloud, finally broke his long silence about his relationship with fellow actor James Arness. Weaver's comments, told in his own words, give us a rare and personal look into how these 2 of TV's most lasting stars got along, showing layers of respect, tension, and unspoken friendship that had long stayed behind the scenes. James and I had a very special relationship, Weaver said, his voice full of both nostalgia and honest truth. We worked together, yes, but we were also 2 very different men with very different ways of seeing the world. I respected him. I admired his acting. But there were moments, oh, so many moments, where I simply could not understand his intensity compared to my own way of working and living. Weaver went on to talk about the early days of meeting Arness, which were full of both professional admiration and careful distance. When I first met James on the set, I knew right away that he was someone special, Weaver remembered. He had this feeling of authority, this seriousness, the kind that makes people listen, makes people respect him right away. And I, coming in as the younger, maybe more impulsive actor, was both scared and inspired by that presence. But being inspired can be complicated. You see, admiring someone doesn't always make it easy to be friends. There were days when I wanted to challenge him, not because I didn't respect him, but because I was curious, because I wanted to push myself and in some ways push him too. He didn't avoid talking about the times when friction naturally happened between two strong personalities sharing the same creative space. We had disagreements, Weaver admitted honestly, not about the work itself necessarily, because he was always perfectly professional, but about approach, about the way certain scenes should be done, or the way the energy on set should flow. James had a very specific rhythm, a very exact vision of how Gunsmoke should unfold, and it was sometimes hard for me to match that with my own instincts. There were days when it felt like we were speaking two different languages, even though we were both trying to tell the same story. Yet despite the occasional fights and the differences in how they acted, Weaver emphasized how much he respected Arness, especially when thinking about Arness's work ethic and commitment to his acting. I have never met another actor who could carry the weight of a character like he could, Weaver said. James Arness didn't just act, he became the character. Every step, every look, every pause in his performance had meaning. Watching him work taught me more than any acting class ever could. And yes, we argued. Yes, we disagreed. But those moments of tension were never personal. They were creative friction, the kind that makes you sharper, the kind that makes you a better actor. I owe a lot to him for that, even if I didn't always admit it at the time. Weaver also thought about the human side of Arness, showing glimpses of the man behind the big screen personality. People think James was all seriousness, all intensity, he said. And yes, he was serious about his work, but he had a quiet sense of humor, the kind that surprises you when you least expect it. There were times on set when he'd tell a joke, just a small, subtle one, and it would make the room feel lighter instantly. Those were the moments when I felt closest to him, when the barriers between us seemed to fall away, if only for a moment. Finally, Weaver's thoughts carried a tone of making peace and lasting admiration. Looking back, I realized that the complexities of our relationship were part of what made it so remarkable. He concluded, James Arness was a man of great talent, great intensity, and great heart. We may have had our differences, and we may have had our disagreements, but the truth is that I will always be grateful for the time I spent alongside him. He taught me lessons I carry with me to this day, and I think that's the ultimate tribute an actor can give to a colleague: respect, honesty, and a recognition of the greatness they bring to the craft. Through these long-awaited remarks, Dennis Weaver not only gave insight into his personal connection with James Arness, but also offered a broader reflection on the challenges and rewards of working alongside someone whose talent and presence are both powerful and inspiring. It is a rare glimpse into the delicate balance of rivalry, respect, and friendship that exists behind the polished surface of Hollywood's golden era. For fans of both actors, Weaver's awards serve as both a revelation and a heartfelt tribute, cementing the lasting legacy of two men who helped define TV history. Dennis Weaver died on February 24, 2006, at the age of 81, leaving behind a legacy that went far beyond the world of acting. His death happened at his home in Ridgway, Colorado, a place he had chosen for its peaceful landscapes and quiet charm, showing his deep appreciation for nature and a slower pace of life. Weaver had been fighting prostate cancer, a disease that affects thousands of men each year, and despite the challenges it brought, he faced his illness with remarkable strength, and dignity. His passing marked the end of a life filled with artistic achievement, personal dedication, and helping others. For many years, audiences had admired him for his compelling performances on TV and in movies. From his early appearances on dramatic series to his famous role on Gunsmoke, which showed his talent and ability to play different roles. Beyond the screen, Weaver was known for his work in environmental causes, his involvement in road safety, and his commitment to his family, leaving a lasting mark on both his community and fans worldwide. His death was mourned by colleagues, friends, and admirers alike, who remembered him not only as a gifted actor, but also as a caring and principled individual whose influence went far beyond entertainment.